Knock,
Knock,
knock.
knock.
What's up, everybody? Ooh, I can
Ooh,
hear
I can hear
myself.
myself.
Testing, testing. Retarded midgets riding elephants.
I'm echoing. I can hear you on your. I can hear me on your
on your
side.
side.
Testing,
Testing.
testing. One,
One,
two.
two.
So this
This
is
is
right, Mike.
Mike.
All right.
All right.
You have headphones in?
What'd you say?
You got
You got
headphones in?
headphones in?
Nah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
why I
that's why I
can
can
hear
hear.
All
All
right.
right.
Oh,
Oh,
what
what
is going on
going
here?
on here?
That's
That's
crazy. It
crazy.
goes
It
over
goes
top
over
of
top
those
of
two.
those two.
That's dope.
That's dope.
Uh, testing,
Testing.
testing.
I killed Sirius Black.
I can hear you fine. Is I can still hear myself on the other side too.
It's interesting. Wonder why it's echoing like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like your mic is picking up your speakers.
I don't know how. It's never done that before, right?
No.
No.
Hold on. We hung up, right? From our regular call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know what it is.
That's so weird.
So weird.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Because we were on the phone call, we weren't even on Facebook.
Right? So I'm not sure. But I'm ready to get it started when you are. If you don't think it's going to mess with the feedback or anything.
Oh, no, I can hear myself loud and clear. Loud and clear. Like we're sitting in the room next to you. All right. Move it this way. Dang. How am I gonna make that work? All right. We'll do it. All right. Welcome everyone to the next episode of Super Breakdown. I believe this is number 6. Issue number 6. We got a lot on the topic today. We're just gonna be riffing. We have no exact plan. So I'm your host with the most Power Max. And we're here with none other than everyone's favorite demigod,
Lord Triage.
Yes. Brother. How's it been?
I've been chilling, man. You know, I've been getting a lot of my geek on as of late with some of the latest developments in the media, movie, and screen.
Absolutely. I feel that big time, bro. What's the biggest thing that stood out to you lately?
Oh, it's hands down Black Adam.
Absolutely. I agree. What are your thoughts?
I feel it was a great action movie. I'm confused with the continuity of it because there's a lot of questions that just didn't get answered for me or things that weren't really explained. Like my biggest thing was like that whole thing with the material that they were weaponizing. Like, was that supposed to be like the DC version of vibranium? Like,
yeah, I was a little confused about that too. For me, my biggest question was majorly just like, since when did Amanda Waller, become in charge of all that?
yeah, they're pushing like really hard to try to make her like the Nick Fury of the DC universe, and I'm not feeling it.
I'm not either. She's not supposed to be.
And I love Viola Davis.
Absolutely, hands down. But it's just like the character is supposed to be. Like she's supposed to be like the bad version of Nick Fury. Like, let's get the mission done by any means necessary.
Well, here's the funny thing. Low key, Nick Fury was like that in several stories, but he got I don't want to say whitewashed because he is black.
He got black.
Yeah, because they're owned by Disney, so they're only gonna be so much. Like that whole scene in the first Avengers movie where they were like, "Yo, I'm not gonna nuke the island of Manhattan." Nick Fury would have been the guy to send the nuke, though. He'd have been that guy to make that call.
Yeah. At least the white Nick Fury.
So I'm kind of confused by that. The other thing is like certain things just weren't explained well to me. Like, now, I was never a big fan of Hawkman actually till recently. But with this latest performance that we got from
Adonis.
Listen, man, he knocked that shit out the park. I think he did great. I thought he did great.
Absolutely.
But I didn't get the whole thing with the nth metal. Like, I know about nth metal because I'm a level 7, but if you're someone who's watching the movie, like that never really got explained.
And that's like even aside from the nth metal, didn't explain him. Didn't explain the character. That character has so much more background. So it's like, what is he? Is he Thanagarian? Or is he a reincarnate? Is he the version of him that reincarnates?
Right. And here's another thing. There's actually a version of the story where they tied both of those together. So we're not sure. And then it's like, where's the whole thing with the armor and how did he get it to so it transitioned into what he needed? Like, was it a thought process? Like,
like his wings are they actually his wings or are they part of the armor? Because it made it look like it was part of the armor,
right?
But then when the bad guy's like trying to rip him off, he's in pain. So it's like, how? Like, if it's a part of the armor, how are you saying pain? Or are they actually wings?
Right.
Or is the armor a part of him? They never explained it.
Because like if you're someone who wears nth metal now, usually in the comics the way it's depicted as that the belt that Carter wears is made of nth metal. That's what allows him to defy gravity. And then excuse me, the wings are what will allow him to navigate up, down, left, right, forward, backwards, so on and so forth. And someone who's wearing nth metal, the nth metal actually greatly enhances their strength, speed, and durability. So that's one of the reasons why he could fight the way he could and then take the beating he could.
Again, this is something that just wasn't really explained.
And the other thing I find really interesting is, so we got Intergang darting around on bikes that can jump to warp speed. Granted, the city of Kondark is a no-fly zone. No one goes in, no one goes out. But I'm trying to figure out how the governments have not done nothing about this.
I don't know, bro.
Like, if you see the weapons they had, like that one scene where Black Adam's chasing the one dude on the bike, like he like went like Mach 10.
Right? All right, brother. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Or even then, like, talk to the people about Thanagarians. Like, give them a little bit of trivia.
So the Thanagarians were a alien race that were basically trained from birth to be elite soldiers and warriors. If the Spartans had wings, this is them.
Now, where does like Shayera come in?
So once again, this all depends on the version of the story you're reading, because the story I read was the whole thing where they were the law officers that went down on a crusade and wound up getting separated from their unit and wound up on Earth. And it was supposed to be during this time they wound up getting ruling over ancient Egypt and getting worshipped as kings and queens.
So is that where they tie in the reincarnation side? So that's what I've seen. Like they're ancient Egyptians and then some kind of meteorite, metal.
Well, let's see, but once again, this is the thing that confuses me, because they said that the meteorite that hit the planet was made of nth metal, and the nth metal is what they use to create their armor and their weapons and stuff like that. But in the movie, it gets explained that the ship what Carter was using was made out of nth metal, and then so were his weapons. But it's like, then they never said where the nth metal came from. So it's one of those continuity things. I think they're still trying to work out the kinks with it. But nth metal was specifically what's what I'm looking for? It was specifically native to Thanagar, sort of like the way vibranium was in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Just like how they used vibranium, the Thanagarians used the nth metal, and nth metal is damn near indestructible.
All right. I can still hear myself. And I just tried switching headphones. Still it worked.
Oh yeah, because I see that you're coming up on my side also.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That's so weird. It doesn't usually do that.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Have you tried not using your headphones?
Oh, we don't want to do that. That's a whole other problem. You heard that little squeak just a second ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's because I unplugged my headphones. Yeah, remember, because I got the big snowball mic.
Right.
Yeah, I had to upgrade. Because I'm telling you, bro, it's coming through on your side. Like, so you're like your phone's microphone is picking out your speaker. Because I'm coming out like loud through your phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your microphone's picking up the speaker.
I don't know why it's doing that. It never did that before.
Yeah, and that's real weird. It's never been a problem before. Because even through the live is coming through like even like more echoey.
How does it sound now?
Testing. It's lower, but it's there. Let me see what it sounds like. Yeah, that's better. Well, I'll take it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it later. I'll take it for now. Anyways, then again, Shire. That whole storyline where they're supposed to be like reincarnated, like to the end of time, Now, is in the in the original story? Is that actually tied in with Vandal Savage, like they did it in Legends of Tomorrow?
Oddly enough, see, here's the thing. So in Brightest Day, it does get explained that he does play a part in it, but it wasn't to that extent.
Mm. Yeah, because the way they did it in Legends of Tomorrow is like Carter and Shire were like destined to continuously reincarnate to fight Vandal Savage. It's like when Vandal came back, they came back. And it was like a twisted love triangle. Like
It basically was, but Vandal also took the part of another character by the a priest who was in the Temple of Horus, who found out that they were in love and was jealous. So he basically played dual parts in that series because the priest was the one who would kill them, and then they'd reincarnate.
oh, okay. So kind of like what they had going on with the Mummy.
Yes, I want to say the priest's name was Half Set, if I remember serving me correctly.
See, and this is stuff that like I really wish they would have taken their time with. And I as much as I like Black Adam, I still see the same problems that DC has. They're just jumping the gun.
I thought of it.
Cyclone, introduce Adam Smasher, Hawkman, Doctor Fate, with no information about them.
And that's another thing. Like Dr. Fate was supposed to be like phenomenally stronger than what they showed him to be. So it's like, and then the whole thing with Kent Nelson, like, did the helmet of Naboo go off to choose a new host? Like, was that the whole thing with the helmet, the same thing with the spirit that possessed him? Like, he seemed like he had way more control over that helmet in this depiction than we've ever seen before.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's also a possibility that he, in this version, he came to an agreement with Naboo. You know, maybe this version of him is more acceptable by Naboo.
Right.
So it's like he gave them equal, like they both had equal power. Oh wow, there's definitely still that echo there. I just heard it screech real quick. Testing. 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 Testicles. Chesticles. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens. This is what happens. You know, when you're grinding, you're starting from the bottom, working your way up. You're gonna run into these issues. You know, you just got to work what you got and keep it pushing.
Oh Lord.
But nah, so I mean, yeah, Black Adam, I like it. I thought it was a great movie.
It was
Highly
like,
entertaining.
for me, it was no different from like Ninja Assassin or like The Expendables. The action was on point. The story just needed to be ironed out better.
Yes, yeah, I agree on that.
And then here's another thing, like with the whole thing with Black Adam being the champion before Billy Batson, like they said that the last champion in Shazam, they say the last champion was the one who released the 7 deadly sins, and they weren't loose on man. And then that they felt like he been corrupted by his power, so they banished him. All right. But then we see this one, and that's not what happened at all. And I'm also confused to how, if, spoiler alert, 1, 2, 3, if Seth Adams' son was the original person who was made the champion, I don't understand how he transferred his powers without a conduit the way Billy Batson did with the Wizards on staff.
Well, we talked about that before. Like my understanding is like that's a clause that the Wizards put in after the fact. when they saw that his son was able to transfer the power on his own, and they saw what happened because of it. When they imprisoned Adam, they're just like, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't put that in there again. We shouldn't allow our champions to just give the power to anyone. It needs to be our decision. So I think they end up dubbing. And Shazam, they used the last wizard staff to give it to the family. Yeah.
Right. And then even then, that was his judgment to deem that they were worthy. So it's I get that aspect, but it's he still had to use the wizard staff. So it's if he didn't need the staff, it didn't matter in hindsight. Because if the staff wasn't necessary, how come, I forget the bad guy's name who was in the movie, why couldn't he just take his powers the way Seth Adams' son gave him his? All he had to do was transfer his powers and make him say Shazam. Like I said, the continuity issues, it doesn't make sense.
And again, it's because it's two different writers. It's supposed to be within the same world. When you start writing something without a plan, you're going to run into these potholes and these continuity areas. Like Shazam was a great movie. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. But because they made Shazam without keeping in mind of Black Adam, this is what happens. This is what happens.
If we're talking action, I give the movie a 8. If we're talking story, I give it a 5.
Yeah, but I personally did like the new run of it with Teth Adam not being everything that they said he was, and his whole run was just I have the power, but I only needed it for one reason: to avenge my son. I'm not a hero. I'm not the hero. My son was. And I appreciate the fact that they kept with that. Now, on the graphic side of things, Tiny Rock was not it.
What'd you say?
Tiny Rock was not it.
Well, that's because we're used to seeing him being 6'6" and wired in a door. So it's what'd you expect?
It's not it, bro. I was it's not nearly as bad as Fat Rock from Central Intelligence.
Whoa.
Kevin Hart. Oh, yeah, it's not nearly as bad as that, but yeah, seeing Rock's big, Rottweiler head and that little body just, you just, they needed to make his head smaller. Oh, man. Or they could have had somebody else, have a different actor play, little Teth Adam. And then when he's Shazam, he's The Rock as Black Adam.
Yeah.
Like they did with Shazam.
And all his siblings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, make it good. But yeah, it was a good movie, but it falls within the usual DC trope. They jump in the gun, writing stories without taking into account the movies before or the movies that are going to be coming after. And then, again, like I said, introducing characters with no context. When did this team even, from Suicide Squad 2 to now, when did this team come together? And when did Amanda Waller become the boss?
Right.
No context whatsoever. Don't get me wrong. And here, let me point this out. The Rock is not. I'm probably gonna catch some heat for saying this, but he's not really an actor. He can't act, but he's not an actor. So I felt like this role for him was perfect. Black Adam is a man of few words. You want the smoke, you get the smoke. I did like that aspect though. Like he didn't care. It's like you want it, you want it. All right, we can square up.
Tell him the Man in Black sent you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When he actually finally said that, I was like, yeah, it works. It works. But also in my mind, I just thought of Will Smith. Here comes the Man in Black.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's all I could think of.
All right, and you'll be willing another Hancock movie into existence. You better stop it.
Oh God, no, please no. I mean, oh damn! Now if you really think about it, now you brought up Hancock. Now I'm comparing Hancock and Black Adam. It's just you take a disgraced hero and turn them into a hero, like somebody like an anti-hero and turn them into a hero. God, I don't. Why'd you mention Hancock? I don't want to think about Hancock. Jesus, that movie. Funny, but not a good movie. Now, on the other side of things, at the end of it, spoiler alerts coming in 3, 2, 1. Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. I appreciated that end cutscene. I appreciated it a lot. But here's more questions. Since when did Amanda Waller start calling Superman? That bothered me.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I love Viola Davis. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think I respect everything she does, but I'm confused to how they keep trying to put her character in this level of authority over all these heroes. And here's another thing. The Justice League and the Justice Society, a lot of these groups did butt heads at times. So it's like, you know what I mean? And then she's the one who was in charge of Suicide Squad. Let's not forget that, if memory serves me correctly, didn't Idris Elba's character shoot him with a kryptonite bullet?
Mm-hmm. Put him in the hospital?
Right?
So it's just things just aren't adding up. They didn't add up at all. I appreciated the painted black scene in the beginning of the movie when we first see the reveal of Black Adam. But again,
yo, who you taking in a fight?
Who? Between Soup and Adam?
Yeah.
Ooh. Depends where they fight. It all depends where they fight. If they're fighting on Earth, Adam. Because Soup's going to be too worried about collateral damage.
Okay.
If they're like in space, I'm still going with Adam. Because I don't know if they're using like traditional Superman rules, him being weak to magic.
Well, they haven't explained that yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're going with those rules. Because there's so many different iterations of Superman. He has this weakness. Oh, now he has this power. There's a whole fucking like version of Superman that has a fucking Setsu no Hado, a Susanoo. Like, what?
Did you watch the Super Pets movie?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
So he could pull a whole Crypto, who was also voiced by the Rock, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
And do a super paw punch. He said the juice box thing. Oh God!
I like Super Pets. I liked it. It was enjoyable to watch. It was funny. My little one loved it. There was some decent adult jokes in there too to get. I don't know if it was just what I watched it on, but it seemed like the frame rate was a little off.
Yes.
Okay, so that's how it actually is.
See, I mean, yeah, it's that what you saw is pretty much what you get.
Yeah, at times it was very it was very smooth, like the animation wise, but then at times it seemed to the frame rate slowed down a little bit, and it wasn't as smooth. So my question is, how do you allow that to slide? Right, you're this big company. How do you allow that to slide?
Hey, it might have been one of those things where it was those movies mistakes. They happen to the best of us. But the reason why I brought that up was because of the whole superpower punch. Now, I'm gonna honestly, if we're talking Black Adam versus Superman, I'm gonna take Superman. I'm taking Superman for two big reasons. One, he's got the knuckle clout.
Oh, absolutely.
Superman's fought Lobo. He's fought Doomsday. He's fought Darkseid. You know, and The Rock keeps talking about how he is the most powerful being on this planet. There's nothing that can stop him. Listen, man, we've seen Superman take out people who are more powerful, and more devastating than that.
Yeah. Like I said, it's tough because again, it's about them explaining. They need to explain the rules here. You know, which iteration of Superman you're going with. What are actually all this Superman's abilities? Does he have the Kryptonian mind tricks? You know, is this the one that can sit in the sun and absorb the sun like a battery, or and then with Black Adam, again, it's the magic side of it though. I think if we're going strength and strategy and actually combat IQ, I'm going with Super. Combat IQ, Superman. But the fact that Black Adam's powers come from something that Superman's supposed to be weak to, which that still kind of doesn't make any sense to me either, that weakness.
What, the weakness to magic?
Yeah, I never really understood that.
I know why it is. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it, because magic is like, they say math transcends how math is universal.
Yeah.
Same concept. So it's one of those things, like it transcends species and races and different cultures and everything. So it's one of those things where every culture has a version of it. It just depends on which form of it you practice.
So then, why is it that Superman is weak to it though?
For the same reason why humans are susceptible to it. Like, you got to remember.
If I think of it as Speed Force wise, it's something that's outside of the physical world.
Correct.
Like the ley lines and stuff. So it's like Superman is weak to it because it's something otherworldly. It's not, it's not. So let's put it this way: Superman's not necessarily weak to magic. He's weak to things that aren't of this physical world. Essentially, meaning that the Speed Force would be a weakness for him too.
Well, yes, because it's one of those things like, well, he does have super speed, but he's not able to tap into it.
That would be really scary if Superman learned magic. That'd be quite terrifying. I don't know about how you feel about that, but I wouldn't want to see that. But yeah, so I would say, based on combat IQ, absolutely 100% Superman. If we're going power wise, again, it would all depend on where they are. If they're on Earth, I'm gonna give it to Black Adam. If they're in an area where Soup doesn't have to hold back, it's Superman. Because we've seen what he did, like you said, we've seen what he's done to Doomsday. Shit, we've seen what he's done to Darkseid. He's on Apocalypse. He's like, I don't give a damn about this area, and just commenced to beating the dog shit out of Darkseid.
Right.
I don't know. I'd have to do more analysis on it. But yeah, Black Adam. Overall review for me, I thought the movie. I'll put the movie at an overall 8. And that's, after breaking it down into its individual parts, story, action, continuity, plot twist. Plot twist would be a part of the story. But yeah, like you said, I agree with your rating. You said you give the story what it would be about, like a B.
I give the story a C. I give the action a B.
Really, actually, I really like the action. I thought the action was pretty good.
Yeah, I give the action a B, B plus.
Yeah. So for me, I'll go a little bit higher in the action. I'm gonna say I'll give it an A. Storyline, I'm sticking with where you are too.
Oh, I'm confused why they did little things they did, like that whole scene, like where he did the lightning gun and he turned around and he shot everybody. Like that. I don't understand why they felt they needed a Dirty Harry moment right there, but it's fine. And then the whole thing with him doing the thing in slow motion, like I just.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. That scene. It's my favorite scene out of the whole movie. Well, you want to know what else is my favorite scene?
Go ahead.
Peter Evans in Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix? Which one? I always
Apocalypse.
Oh, Apocalypse? Yeah. It was literally the same exact scene, but instead of saving, it's murder. Come on, it's slow motion. It's the first time we see. First time we're seeing the character in the movie. Second off, slow motion. Third off, everyone's favorite 80s music. It was literally the same exact thing. So I'm gonna say I love that scene because it's a lot like the Peter Evans Quicksilver scene. So you see what I'm saying, right?
I do.
It's a good scene, but we've seen it. I did. I thought it was pretty funny though, because like the dude, the grenade dude, these
Yeah,
guys.
that shit was funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Puts in his mouth, keeps going. Time speeds up. Dude's like, "Oh shit!" He shot. I will say he shot the shit out of that guy. The dude that threw the that shot the Eternium rocket at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he out of boots, just boots. That's all that's left was boots. I thought that shit was hilarious. I feel like the comedy in it too. There was some comedy there. There was some really laughable moments.
Like the fact that this nigga never used the door. Or that scene where he didn't walk down the stairs.
Did they not have doors? No, we had doors. I just choose not to use them.
Like that scene, like where he lowered himself down the staircase while the kids skateboarding down around him. Like I thought that was weird. Like, but it's fine.
Yeah. Because like, why is he going down if he can just go out the wall in the first place?
I'm about to say, why didn't he just jump down and drop?
Right? Superhero.
Was he? Yeah, was he too cool for a superhero landing? Like I didn't.
Oh. Huge plot hole. Huge continuity era. How does he know English?
That's a great question.
How does he know English?
Oh. How does, yeah. That was never explained.
Never explained it. Because when we first see him, he's speaking in ancient Kandar. And then when he's in the room, when he wakes up in the room, clean English. Perfect English. Like he'd been speaking his whole life. With no accent, might I add.
I've got nothing.
Like that was as I was watching in the theater, I'm sitting there and he starts speaking English and I'm like, huh? Like whole head tilt and everything. Like I was chilling with my boy. I didn't want to bring it up to my boy because I didn't want to ruin it for him. And I'm like, okay, we'll let it rock. We will let it rock. Oh my God! Now I'm thinking about it. You know, Dr. Fate pulled the Doctor Strange, right?
What, him doing the whole change in the future thing? Yeah, I'm confused, but I'll nod and go along with it.
Like literally for all that, he really could have just told them what needed to be done. Because like he's seeing all this, but not seeing that the fight's not over. Man, put the helmet on, see what's going to happen, and be like, hey, listen, so it's not over. We should not hand him over to to Amanda yet. We still need him. I'm also just type that they had a whole fight scene with Little Rock.
Oh, will you stop with the Little Rock?
His head was too big for his body. He should have been looking like a newborn loose neck baby.
What?
As big as his head was on that body, there was no way his neck should have been able to hold his head up. It just looked goofy to me. I don't know. It looks so goofy to me. I know. I gotta stop worrying about it. I gotta stop worrying about that. That was the least of the problems in that movie.
All right. So,
the big one is the fact how he speaks English.
That's funny. But
it really is.
I want to transition over to another show.
Yes, let's.
House of Dragon.
I was addicted after the first episode.
How did you feel about the ending?
I was stuck. I saw it coming, of course, but I was actually stuck. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be the older brother that died. Spoiler. Actually, you don't even know what I'm talking about. It's Game of Thrones. Everybody dies.
Shit. I'm taking bets on who stays alive, not who dies.
At this point, yeah. Like, there's a lot to unpack with that show. You know, so if we're gonna let's take a look at the beginning. We got like a whole nother hour or so. We can burn through it. So now, I just want to say first off, I thought Viserys was gonna be like the stereotypical king. Like, I thought he was gonna be like, oh, that's I desire the heir. I thought he was just gonna be an asshole. But he was actually a good guy. He was torn between him being a good guy and then what the world wanted of him, what society wanted of him. Like, when do we ever see a show where the king actually loves his queen? Any other time we see it, it's just like they're just there to make children. You know, so I personally appreciated seeing a different type of king character.
Yeah, it was one of them things like, well, here's the funny thing, because I think it goes back to the whole thing of the Song of Ice and Fire, because it's revealed that the Targaryens knew all about the whole thing with the Long Night and the White Walkers, and that they were passing that shit down from generation to generation so they'd be prepared when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Because you saw Rhaenyra's face when she heard it. She was like, wait, what? Hold on.
Mm.
This is what we were charged with? This is what we're supposed to be doing? Because at the end, when she's an adult, when she says it to Daemon had no clue what she was talking about.
Yeah, he was like, wait, he didn't tell you? You didn't know?
Like, showing that Viserys never trusted him with that information at all.
Which I wouldn't. Because technically, I mean, it is supposed to be passed down from king to king. Well, from, the ruler to the next ruler.
He was always holding out hopes he was going to have a son anyway. So it's like,
mm-hmm.
And then his son would be the heir. But that's not what happened.
Nope. And I kind of feel bad. Daemon's an asshole. But I also do kind of feel bad for him, too. Because all in one day, his only son dies in childbirth. He finds out that the power that he had been working all these decades to get got taken out of his hands and goes to war. All in one day. So now he has to worry about the safety of his two daughters, safety of his niece slash wife. Yes, I made it a point to say that. And his whole little keep.
Yeah. Well, they actually have the bigger, not the bigger number. They don't, as far as like the household goes, because you had her 3 kids from her previous affair.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have his 2 daughters, and then they have 2 kids together now.
They had 2?
Damon and Rhaenyra.
I thought that was her first one.
No, she has 3. He had 2, and then they had 2 more together. Because when she visits the king, when he's on his deathbed, she introduces him to
Viserys.
Yeah, she introduces him to Viserys, and then the other one's name was Aegon also.
Oh yeah, they were definitely. I remember now. Because you don't see him again. You see him in that like towards the end with it was a daughter and a son. No, it was 2 sons.
Yes,
They had a daughter too. Oh no, he just had long hair.
because Rhaenyra was pregnant with their 3rd kid, but she lost it.
Yeah, at the end from what we see. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was hard to watch. That was hard to watch.
Very.
Yeah. Like she sacrificed her child so she can essentially save the world. Or attempt to save the world.
Right? And Allison Hightower don't know about that shit. So it's like that fucking bitch, the feet, as they're calling her on social media. Like her dad's the hand.
I forgot about that.
That shit was dumb funny.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what is she doing? Feet? Really? Really? Feet? Oh no. I've heard of having someone by the balls, never having them by the feet.
Oh god.
That was wild. I didn't see that coming at all. It's like bro takes payment in feet.
Mm-hmm. Listen, she'll be giving foot jobs for the show's over. Just wait.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to skip that episode. There's already some really hard to watch stuff.
Right? And I was actually talking with my brother about this the other day because he was asking me a lot of questions. And I was saying to him, I was like, you gotta remember, out of this entire show, you've only seen bits and pieces of the other houses. There's another 8, 9 houses that are on the country, which are really predominant that you've barely even seen. Like we've seen a bit of the Lannisters, we've seen a bit of the Starks, but it's like we've seen the Baratheons. Where the fuck where the Greyjoys? We all know how them pirates love a fight.
Yep.
Let's not forget when Aegon conquered Westeros, he only conquered 6 kingdoms. He never conquered Dorne.
That's true.
Like the Dornishmen wound up folding into the whole thing when a Dornishman marries one of the Targaryens. I can't remember which one it was, but that's how they wound up coming into the fold. But still, like this whole thing sets the whole country down the middle. So it's like everyone who swore fealty to her, which was, to my knowledge, every major fucking house on the continent, basically, who is not honoring that vow now, is committing an act of treason.
Yeah. So I have found that was dirty. That was dirty. You know, but here's the thing. Here's one thing that I realized with this last episode, the season finale. They had said something earlier in the show about dragons and how like they have a mind. They do have a mind of their own.
Oh yes, we are not their masters. They are not our servants. Them serving us is an illusion.
Yeah. Yep. And it comes full circle right there at the end there.
Well, I don't think Aemon truly meant to hurt. I forget which one of the brothers it was he killed. I'm not sure if it was
Lucerys. It was the little brother, the little strong.
Yeah,
Lucerys.
but I can't remember. I'm not sure if it was Jace or
No, it was Lucerys.
Yeah, so it was Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
So I don't think he meant to hurt Luke. I think it was more one of the things like he was messing with him. But even Oris Baratheon knew, like, yo, nah, y'all can't do that shit in here. Y'all gotta take that shit outside.
Because that's
he's like, absolutely not. I'm not having either one of your mothers mad at me. Take that shit outside.
He wasn't playing. He was like, nope, not in here. Yo, take him outside. Take him outside. Not in here. Because you die on my land, it's a whole shitstorm I don't want. And because from what it seemed like to me, Aemon just wanted his pound of flesh.
Yeah, like he was more or less just messing with him. That's what I took from it.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, like, but the dragons didn't know that. So, like,
yeah,
Luke's dragon attacked because it thought it was being chased.
Yeah. And he's like, yo, I got to protect my rider.
Yeah.
And Vhagar's thinking, oh, we hunted.
Like, oh, you want to breathe fire in my face? All right, I got something for that ass. Like that whole scene, like when he chomps down, and you see the what's it left fall, and then they show that close up of his face, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, I fucked up. And he's like, no, Vhagar, no. Yeah, that was tough too, because I'm like, damn.
Well, from the material, it was more talking about this. It was more described, from what I understand, that he was thrown from the dragon, and that he fell to his death. But for it to be like this, like he purposely got him thrown from the dragon. But if you watch the depiction like this, that shit was clearly an accident.
Yeah. Yeah, it was absolutely an accident.
And even then, like, he's got to go home and explain this shit to his mother now and his brother, who's the king. Like, yo, you just killed your nephew and you just started an all-out war.
Yeah, because she was really not trying to go to war. She was not trying to go to war. You know, she was trying to keep the peace. But you kill my son, it's over. You know what I mean? There's no peace talks. Which I 100% respect.
Like, yeah, that whole scene, like where Daemon walks up and tells her, and she like puts her hand on her stomach and she like cringes and she looks into the camera, that look on her face, I was like, oh yeah.
It's going down.
Yeah, like the roller coaster just dropped.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it was. And now they're dragging down. And if I remember correctly, Amex was their youngest. Amex was their youngest dragon.
Because let's see, yes, because both her sons had dragons, and then I believe one of Daemon's daughters had one. Because
Baela was supposed to get Vhagar.
Yeah, but then Aemon took him.
And so she hasn't. No, because her dragon hadn't hatched yet. The little sister's dragon hadn't hatched. And then the big sister was supposed to get Vhagar. So neither of them have a dragon right now. Because no dragon eggs have hatched since, I think it would be since Amex. Because wasn't that the whole problem in Game of Thrones? Like, the dragons died off because one of the war, and then they just stopped hatching.
Yeah. And then, like, there's a whole thing that happens, like, with the dragon pit, because, like, you see in Game of Thrones, like, I want to say it was season 7, The last
No, I
episode of
didn't get
season
that
7,
far.
when they have the last episode of season 7, when they have the meeting between Cersei, Jon Snow, and Daenerys, that's actually at the Dragon Pit. That's what's left of it. So something happens that results in the Dragon Pit being destroyed. And I believe that's the incident where most of the dragons wind up being killed.
Yeah, maybe because who was the dragon that Damon went to see?
See, he's apparently an older dragon that's without a rider. Apparently, like, he's huge too. Like, he's like Vhagar size. I guess like Damon's trying to get to know him to take him as a rider.
Yeah, because I remember when Damon was talking about the dragons, he was counting their dragons, and then he said there's 3 other untamed dragons out there. It's gonna be interesting. I can't wait for season 2. It says season 2 is going into production next year.
Yeah, because we got a whole year to wait. But they've already announced that they're doing spinoffs because they gave Jon Snow his own show, and then they're doing a show all about Princess Nymeria, who's the one who built Dorne up to what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
they said they had like 4. Like at the end of Game of Thrones, they said they're gonna have like 4 spin-off shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you watched Bleach?
I have not.
Damn. Oh man, that's another one I wanted to talk about because it's getting real, bro. This season's only on episode 4. It's called 1,000-Year Blood War for a reason. It's bloody. It's pretty damn bloody. So I'm very excited yet terrified to see what's coming next in the show. There was another thing I wanted to talk about as well. Let's see that Game of Thrones. What was there was some other big news that just the Spider-Verse. They just announced that Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing in not 1 but 2 other universe Spider-Man as well, which is the Insomniac verse Spider-Man from the games and Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Man, fuck Tom Holland.
Why?
Why not?
Why
do you tell me why Tom Holland's such a great Spider-Man? I'll wait.
I personally feel like 1, he looks like a child.
He does.
So it helps with them being able to like have that longevity of showing the progression of Spider-Man.
Boo.
We start him out young because Tobey Maguire, bro, they in their 30s in high school. At least this way, Tom Holland in high school makes more sense. They look like children. And then we see him going to college and everything. I feel like he's just as whimsical, as well as able to make them snarky remarks. I would give it more of a chance because now we get to see traumatized Peter Parker. No, now we get to see full traumatized Peter Parker. So I think now he's going to turn more into like the 90s Spider-Man, the 90s animated series Spider-Man, which was a little more serious.
My opinion, that is the best depiction of Spider-Man.
The 90s?
Yes.
Yeah, I most certainly agree with you. I really feel like if you take Garfield, Maguire, and Holland and merge them together, that will be the perfect live action Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, because to me, Garfield has the mouth. He's
Yep.
got the personality. Maguire has the weight of the character in the stress and the damage, and then Holland, he's got the tights.
Jesus Christ. No. he
Nah,
has that.
he has the legitimate like tech brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like in the other Spider-Man movies, they didn't really show like the fact that Peter is like he's a prodigy. He's a little genius. He's super smart. You know, like Tobey Maguire, we really didn't see that too much. I mean, we know he's great at sewing and knitting.
Oh my god! Well, it's one of them things where how can I put this? That's the evolution of time along with the character. Like, I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan, and my favorite Ninja Turtle is Donatello. So, like, in the first movie you watch, Donatello's very subtly intelligent. The way he's tinkering shit, the way he figures shit out, the way he notices stuff with just a little bit of a hint, opposed to nowadays how he's a full on tech nerd. So it's just the evolution of time with the character. Like, Maguire, he was smart, but it's like he didn't need to be geek textbook smart. He didn't need to be Alec Hardison smart. But like,
based off the story, the type of story they were going with, he didn't need to be a genius.
Right? Now, you look at Tom Holland. Tom Holland is a tech genius. That's exactly what he is. From the whole thing with him, just that scene where he's on the plane customizing a whole new suit with Iron Man shit. Like, you know what I mean? Tobey Maguire could have done that, but he couldn't have done it to that extent.
Yeah, because also, and that's one thing I liked in No Way Home, because we actually get to see them using their each of them has their own individual like expertise and science. Like says Tom Holland, he's the tech one. Tobey Maguire was more genetics, and then we have Andrew Garfield, which is engineering. And I like that because then you see them in there. They're using all three of their like expertise to solve the problem.
Right.
But you gotta say, No Way Home is hands down the best Spider-Man movie.
Well, it's got all three of them. How could you hate it?
You said all three of them are better?
No, I said it's got all three Spider-Man. How could you hate it?
Tis true.
The only question I had is why was there 5 villains and not 6? That's my only question.
Exactly. Who were they missing?
From the Sinister Six?
Yeah, who were they missing?
Well, here's the thing. The Sinister Six team has changed several times. It all just depends on the incarnation of the team you're watching.
But the most iconic one that everyone really thinks of.
Well, I think of the one from the 90s cartoon.
Yeah, which Goblin, Electro, Sandman.
No. So from the 90s cartoon, it was the Shocker.
Oh yeah, Shocker.
You had Mysterio, the Chameleon.
Oh, Chameleon. I forgot about him.
Rhino. Oh, Chameleon's actually in that movie. Dr. Octopus and the Scorpion.
Yeah. So to me, the most iconic ones that I remember: Shocker, Scorpion, Doc Ock, Goblin, Rhino. Electro, and Vulture.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Vulture.
Yeah. But you got to remember, me and you, we have an age difference.
This is true.
Yeah, we got a decent age difference, so those are the ones that I always remember that Sinister Six. I feel like they did that.
Oh my god!
What?
I just saw something. Hold on, I gotta send it to you because you're gonna laugh hysterically.
All right, let's see. Let's see here. Who's your favorite Superman?
Who's my favorite Superman?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Are you asking me which one, in my opinion, is the best? Or are you asking me like which? Oh, I'm a Smallville fan. I gotta say Tom Holland. Excuse me, not Tom Holland. Excuse me.
No,
I have to say Tom Welling.
With me, it's tied between Welling and Cavell. I like the way that they portray like each version of that, so it's tied between them two for me.
Now, I don't take nothing away from Henry Cavill, but they made his Superman too human for me.
I can certainly agree. The tree. I forgot about that joke.
I did too.
The damn tree as a sixth person in Sinister Six.
Oh Lord.
Oh man,
It's just a tree, man.
It's just a tree, man. I feel like Jamie Foxx is perfect.
Oh no, I think he did great as Electro.
Yeah, I like this version of Electro. Absolutely. You know, he's real. Like I didn't like his Electro that was in Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't like that one.
I didn't hate that one, but it's one of those things where little things to me could have been done better.
And I feel like they fixed them in with changing them up, making them not blue, and giving him more lines and making him not as much of a nerd.
But once again, like I said, it's that subtle intelligence. Like you don't have to make that whole thing with the geek is the one who's intelligent. Like I think the subtly intelligent character is always going to be outshine the one who has to be like very forward about their intelligence.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. Ooh, I'm starting to get some echo and feedback in there. Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, as soon as you muted your mic, man, it went straight away. Testing. That is very interesting. Don't know why it's doing that, but you know what? We'll fix it for the next run. Have you ran into any interesting issues, like comic book issues?
Lately, I have not actually.
Yeah, I've been
picked up anything new recently.
Yeah, I've been kind of like stuck on like the media side of it all. Like paying attention to who's going to be playing who, new actors and stuff. Oh, give me your opinion on Flashpoint being canceled, or if it's going to be canceled, or should it be canceled?
Listen, man, with that whole DC and these people with the shit that's going on, like they have fucked themselves so bad with all this controversy shit. Like Ezra Miller and all the shit he got involved in. I'm surprised they didn't do that a while ago. In my opinion, once again, and I'm not a fan of Ezra Miller as a Flash by no means, I don't understand why they didn't just scrap the movie and give Grant Gustin the part.
I highly agree.
He's only been playing the Flash for a decade. I don't understand. People accept him as the character. People love him as the character. I don't understand what the problem is. That's just like the whole thing with Aquaman. Like, that second movie was supposed to come out a while ago, but because of all this shit going on with Amber Heard, it's stuck in fucking development hell. Once again, I say fire that bitch, replace her with Emilia Clarke. Problem solved.
Absolutely. Now, I feel like.
Oh, speaking of Aquaman, what's your feelings on Yahya Abdul-Mateen being looked at as Wonder Man?
Wonder Man is essentially Vision's brother, air quotes, right?
Basically.
I'm rock with it. We've never seen it live action. He's not a staple in the comic books. So I'm down with it. And also his acting is amazing.
Yes. I've liked everything I've seen him in thus far. He's yet to disappoint me. I felt the Matrix needed a little bit of work, but other than that,
yeah. Well, that's not his call. That was all Keanu Reeves and Warner Brothers. Now, what gets me upset about this whole Flashpoint thing is we were about to see our first Latina Supergirl.
Okay. Now, once again, I'm not against that by no means, as long as she does justice to the character. That's what I care most about. But the thing that's going to bother me was, like, what was the purpose behind this story? Because if you've read The Flashpoint is one of the coolest fucking stories I've ever read.
It is.
Like,
I've read it, yes.
So for that to be like the solo Flash movie, that didn't make sense to me. In my opinion, that should have been like the second or third one.
Yeah.
Like, they should have introduced him, had him
everything.
What'd you say?
It was supposed to reset everything.
But even then, like, it's still no. Like, they keep talking about this whole thing, like what's canon and what's not. Like, in my mind, the things that are canon are Batman versus Superman, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman 2, Aquaman, Shazam. All right, that's the universe. That's what's canon. The only reason why Batman versus Superman didn't work is because they did the whole thing they did with fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation. They took too much shit and tried to stick it into one movie, and then by the time you got to the point, no one cared.
Yep. 100% agree with that.
And then you got people's performances that are either completely over the top or dry as fuck. Like, I don't care what no one says. The kid that plays Lex Luthor, I don't like him in that part at all.
Oh, no. As I knew the movie was going to flop as soon as they announced that he was and he was not even Lex Luthor. He's Lex Jr.
Like, I don't understand the idea, the point behind that. Like, and then the whole thing with the DC universe doing away with the secret identities. Like, I don't like the fact that everybody knows who Batman is. Like, you know what I mean? That was not.
Wait, when did that happen?
Because, like, Superman knows, Diana knows, like, that whole scene, like, where he brought them into the cave. Like, you know what I mean? he wouldn't have just done that off rip. Like they'd had to earn that shit.
Yeah, because in the Justice League, he knew all then. And that only happened when Amanda essentially got the government to outlaw them. And so they had to go undercover and clear their name. And I remember they're in that little clothing shop and they got to change clothes. And someone's like, I think it's time that we tell each other our secret identities. And there's like this whole argument with Batman's like, Wally, because he was Wally. The Wally was Clark Kent, Diana, and he just went down the line. They're like, he's like Bruce Wayne. They're like, oh, well, that makes sense. He's like, now let's get to work and clear our names. Stop playing games.
So, like, yeah, that to me in that aspect, it's like they keep trying to do certain things and it doesn't work. Like, I get Marvel had that whole thing where they don't want to do secret identities. That's fine. Okay. But see, for most of the Marvel characters, you can get away with that. The only real big Marvel characters that did identities weren't public were like the X-Men, Daredevil, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Until after Civil War.
Yeah. But even then, like so it's like that's not that big of a deal. Everyone knows Steve Rogers is Captain America. What?
Spider-Man revealing his identity. They retconned that in the comic books too.
Yeah, they did. So I get the aspect they were trying to go in that angle, but it's like they could have done the Justice League, introduced these characters, and then had them give them their solo movies and had them work. But it's also like who they picked. Like, I don't give a shit about Cyborg. I really don't. I would have preferred to have seen the Martian Manhunter.
52.
What?
They went with the new 52, but didn't add Green Lantern, didn't add Martian Manhunter.
Well, they didn't want to touch Green Lantern after the whole fiasco before with Ryan Reynolds.
But that's the thing. That was the perfect time to do it, though. I felt like that was the perfect time.
It's one of them things like they have to do the character and it not be cheesy. Like his constructs can't be weak, they can't be dumb. It's like, yo, and you want to know what the funny part is? You saw Eternals.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell me that same concept is the exact concept that I'm forgetting her name. Laura Croft, the one that's married to Brad Pitt.
Angelina Jolie.
Yes. Like, her character had the exact same concept with her powers, and she was out there fucking shit up. So it's like, I don't understand why, once again, apples to oranges, it's an issue.
Again, it's just the people at Warner Brothers are not smart.
I think the issue is the characters they pick, who they pick to play them, and then what happens between the choice of the film and then post-production.
So the way I see it is, it's too many chefs in the kitchen. Because if you look up Warner Brothers, DC, statistics, all that, everything, there's so many companies that have a hand in what happens in the DCEU. It's wild. It has to pass through so many different things. So let's say at the bottom, you have the DCEU. Above that, you have DC Comics. And above that, you have Time Warner. Then above that, you got Warner Brothers. But now, somewhere in there, now you got to add Discovery.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of hands to pass through. Now, if you look at Marvel, on the other hand, Disney, Marvel.
Sony, depending on if we're doing Spider-Man or not.
Yeah. That's why that side hasn't been. They haven't been aces. Only time they ace is when Marvel is involved, which would be the Spider-Man movies. Anytime they do a Spider-Man movie, Marvel has to be involved. Venom, Craven movie that's coming out. I almost forgot about the Craven movie until just now. Yeah, it just doesn't like. There's too many chefs in the kitchen for Warner Brothers. Way too many chefs in the kitchen for Warner Brothers, dude. And it's a problem because like when you because like let's say the people that are in charge of DCEU, they're like, all right, here, this is what we want to do. That means that now it has to go up the chain to DC Comics. Now DC Comics is like, all right, well, that's cool. That sounds like the story that we have going on here. So that's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna work it. And then now they got DC Comics and DCEU on the same page. Now that goes up to Time Warner. And again, Time Warner, they are not comic book people. They're not. So they're going to look at it. Oh, disconnected. He'll pop back in momentarily. So I'm going to just talk to the people. So after it goes from all of them and move their way back up, welcome back, good sir.
Yes, my fault.
Mike, testing 1 2 1 2. It's gone.
Ain't that something?
Ain't that about a bitch? But yeah. So DCU comes up with something. All right. Oh, this is what we want to do. Take it to DC. Now they got to take it up the chain to DC Comics. DC Comics says, all right, let's make this quick change. All right, cool. I trust DC Comics. They're comic books. So I trust them. But now the idea has to now go up to Time Warner. Time Warner has to look at it, and now Time Warner, their people start making changes. All right, well, let's change that, and let's do this. Now from there, that one has to go up. Now they're at Discovery or Warner Brothers, whoever the hell's in charge at this point now, and now they're making changes to it. Now they're like, take this out. Let's let's add this character in. Let's get him some publicity. Let's talk to the marketing department. What do you think? What characters do you think we should try to publicize right now? This and that. And now whatever the actual comic book people at the bottom have just decided that they were going to do has now been ripped apart, anally played with, and now they're being forced to put it out. On the other hand, when it comes to Marvel, there's one person that is making the decisions.
You mean the little Kevin Feige robot?
The little Kevin Feige, Kevin. And when he says this is what we're doing, this is what we want to do, all he has to do is just go to the next office over and talk to the mouse and be like, yo, listen, this is what I'm thinking about doing. And the mouse says, sure, by all means, do what you got to do. And we have these going on 20 years of Marvel Cinematic Universe. We got TV shows, spin-offs. Like, this is how you do it. You have one, maybe two people in charge of making the decisions on things. And then those one or two people tell everyone else, this is what we're doing. They're not asking for advice from the marketing department. They're saying, this is what we want to do. Do what you can to make it work. They're not asking the marketing team, oh, what we should do about this. What should we do about this? Who should we put in this time? No. Personally, Cyborg should not have been in the Justice League movie.
Thank you. The only reason why I think that he came into place is the whole thing with the mother box. Other than that, but even then, to me, having them introduce Darkseid the way they did and have them fight Steppenwolf, like I thought that shit was stupid. They should have came up with something else because we already saw a group of heroes stop an alien invasion. We didn't need to see it again.
Exactly. Because again, they went with the new 52 version of how the Justice League came together, and it was to fight Darkseid. And in the end, they didn't fight Darkseid. Superman fought Darkseid. They just went and saved the people from the ship. And then to go with this iteration, because Martian Manhunter, if you look at the new 52 that was it Justice League War, Martian Manhunter is not even there.
No, he isn't a Snyder cut though.
Yeah, he was the general the whole time.
So, once again, I'm a little confused there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, but I'm happy he's the black man. I'm happy he's a black man now. I'd have been tight if they changed that.
Listen, John Jones has been black for about 15 years now.
Exactly, I would have been tight if they decided to change that. Because because the reasoning behind him choosing a black man, I love it. The reasons behind him choosing to look like a black man is so fucking dope. For those of you who don't know, John Jones chooses to look like a black man because he identifies with the hate and struggle that black people have to go through because of the color of their skin. Because he went through the same exact shit back on Mars for being a green when the whites were ruling.
Yeah, boy.
So I respect that. I appreciate that. And speaking about that, you watched Titans yet?
I only watched the first episode. I haven't watched the second one yet.
Ooh. Oh, that second episode had me like, oh, okay. So we'll talk about this first episode real quick. This first episode, bro. What did you think? What was your opinion on it? I want to hear what you got first.
Well, I was waiting to see this whole thing because I'm assuming we're going to be dealing with brother Blood and his occultist this season.
That's what it seems like. That is very much so what it seems like.
Because
I know Jinx is coming in this season too.
Okay, so that might open up the door for Hive and some other characters, but Brother Blood is a very big enemy of the Titans in the comics, so that kind of does make sense. And we saw that in the Teen Titans show in the cartoon. So I'm not overly surprised by that. I was just curious to how dark they were going to make this.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with how dark they're going with this season. This man literally sat there and puked up his own damn insides as a snake crawled out of his stomach. Blood everywhere. I was not expecting Lex Luthor to die.
That's if he's dead.
That's if he's dead. Because it's Lex.
Well, that and it's DC.
And it's DC. That's right. That's very true. No one stays dead for too long in DC. But I thought it was really good. I do see them doing one thing with Tim Drake, and I'm not particularly pleased with it.
Do you think you're gonna make him gay?
They are definitely 100% going to make him gay, which I'm not against that part. I'm against them changing the character without notice, without giving any kind of other subtle hints from the time that we meet the character.
I'm about to say because they did one of those grand rewrites and they did that in comics a few years ago that they made him bisexual. But just from that little scene, like where he was interacting with the one scientist, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna go this direction. But okay.
Yeah. Like I'll take it. I just don't like the way that they did it. I just feel like that writing could have been done so much better. Because now here's the question, because it was clearly the scientist that was hitting on him. The scientist was specifically hitting on him. Why? The scientist must be a hold-in. The scientist is a hoe.
Or maybe he had good gaydar. I don't know.
Maybe had a good gaydar, but at the same time, it's like you just met this man today. Just met him today. Don't know a damn thing about him, but besides the fact that he's rolling with the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
He a groupie.
Oh God!
It really sounds like he a groupie, bro. Like he's barely known this man for 24 hours, and it's like, hey, yo, just give me a call anytime you need something. At what point did you let him know that, yo, listen, you look good? You know what I'm saying? Or any of that. You literally just shot in the dark and hoped that he was into dudes too. Like, that writing was horrible on that. I'm like, why would you do it that way? Have some class and have some tact and really like drag it out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have the whole season. You have the whole season to build this storyline up. Don't just come in and drop us into this story like this. Until at least this part of the storyline. Build it up. You know what I mean? Or because last season they didn't show anything that would indicate, that he was interested in guys and girls. If anything, it showed more that he was into girls because he was fiending over Wonder Girl.
In all fairness, she is an Amazon.
Yeah. If I remember correctly in that, she actually was an Amazon. They had like adopted her. She was like adopted. Or something like that. Like they adopted her in. She wasn't like a legit like full Amazon.
Listen, it's still Wonder Cooter, okay? Are you saying no to Wonder Cooter? Would you say no to Death by Snoop Snoop?
Listen, for the sake of my relationship, no. Absolutely, I would say no. I would say no. I would have to decline that offer. But like, yeah, they never showed us any of this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like when shows do that. You know what I mean? If you're going to have, a gay, lesbian, bisexual, a character, that is a part of the LGBTQ community, do it right. Do it with some class. Do it respectfully. You know what I mean? And then especially as a writer, bro, you have the whole season. Like, show this character going through some, inner turmoil. Like, whoa, dude, what do I do? But now you're expecting us to believe that this character has, like, this character that you just recently introduced us to, has been this way the entire time, yet you didn't show us any of this last season at all. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's an important character trait Thus, that's something that needs to be established as you're introducing the character. For them to throw it in the second season in a throwaway scene, I feel it's kind of messed up, kind of disrespectful, and it's bad writing to me. Bad writing. But Garfield, let's talk about Beast Boy real quick. What do you think's going on with him?
Well, I think it's one of them things like ever since Tess Mercer unlocked that part of his mind when she did that whole Jedi Sith mind trick shit to him, I think she unlocked the primal part of his mind.
That's what I'm thinking as well. And also his powers, I think that could also contribute to his powers growing the way they are. She unlocked something, a part of him that is now, again, him turning into the bat randomly, or stuff like that. It's really starting to starting to work out. And again, like we see him in the bowling alley, he's able to change individual parts of his body now.
He wasn't doing that before, correct?
Yep, and now he's able to, the tentacle, and that's one thing I want to see from this Beast Boy. That's one thing I want to see from this Beast Boy. The ability to like not have to transform completely into that animal, and being able to use different abilities and attributes and traits from a certain animal. Like he changes his eyes to be able to see better in the dark, changes his nose to be able to smell better, senses and stuff like that. Needs to get through a gate. Changes his hands to claws or whatever.
Make it more of a chimera in a sense.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And in like which movie was it? I think it was not Judas Contract. I think it was Justice League versus Titans versus Justice League, the animated movie, where it was focused more on Trigon trying to take over Raven and stuff like that, and they ended up going into Azarath, and his body, like, he starts having like pains and stuff like that, and next thing you know, he's able to transform into the beasts of Azarath. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. I must now have the ability to change into the creatures of this world, of this dimension. Which, hints to him having like his powers being a little bit deeper than what, we've always been shown. He naturally automatically has a connection to all animal life or creature life within that universe or whatever. He just needs to unlock it, like some Omnitrix type shit.
Right.
So I would like them to really grow this version of Garfield. I love the actor that's playing him. I love the aesthetic. I love the look that they got going on for him as well.
Yeah, I thought I wasn't gonna like it because he wasn't green, and then when he does little stuff,
he turns green a little bit. Yeah, and I think that's I think it's dope. I think it's super dope. And now they're like, oh yeah, you don't have to strip naked anymore. And it's like, oh, just when I was getting used to it.
I have free balling in the street.
Yeah, I'm free balling. No, I think this season of Titans is gonna get real dark, dude. It's gonna get real dark. It's gonna get real bloody, and I'm not sure who's really gonna come out in the end.
I'm just excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, I actually just watching episode 2, because episode 2 goes into a little more detail. They reveal who Brother Blood is most likely gonna be. But even then, there's something else going on as well on a larger scale. And this episode, they reveal that a little bit more, to like what could be possibly going on. Because again, in this first episode they unveiled the Temple of Azarath.
Right.
And let me say, there is a little there's a big Easter egg, and it is I geeked the fuck out in that second episode with this one scene. And when you see it, you're gonna be like, God fucking damn it, it's about time. I wanted this in the show, and they put it in the show. It's in the show.
All right.
So bro, it's definitely worth it. So with that being said, we've talked about the hell did we talk about this episode? the hell did we talk about this?
Black Adam, House of Dragon,
House of the Dragon, DC, and all their fuckery. Yeah, I'm afraid I'm afraid Marvel's gonna start. I just hope Marvel stays doing what they're not even because I don't know. I'm starting to get a little rocky with what they got going on.
Listen, at the moment, the only ones I am betting on is the Wakandans and Sam Wilson.
Absolutely, I give you.
Everybody else seems like it's all hands on deck.
Kevin's dick. Oh no, I'll say the mouse's dick. Because again, that's who's in charge. That is who is in charge.
Good old Mickey.
And right now, like shit's going wrong with Blade. Apparently, the production's taking too long, and it's fucking up Marshall Ali's like work or something like that. Because they had to change directors, and like it was just So apparently, it's in a bit of a production hell right now. So I'm really I'm actually quite upset about that. Because again, this is one of the movies I'm waiting for. I've been waiting. Shit, how long has it been since that horrible, Blade Trinity came out?
I do not know of what you speak.
I got to stop hating. I enjoyed it when the movie originally came out. I enjoyed it. It was no Blade 2. Blade 2 was really, really good. But Trinity, want to know what I feel like happened with Blade Trinity?
I already know, but go ahead.
They're like, oh, okay, Blade did good, dope. Oh, Blade 2 did amazing. All right, you know what, motherfuckers? Let's start skating uphill. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that has been issue number 6 of the Super Breakdown. I'm your host, Pyro Maximus, and we're here, as always, with the one, the only, everyone's favorite demigod,
Lord Triage.
And we will be back, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after. I also want to apologize to you guys because our October did not go as planned. Technical difficulties, unfortunately, but we got that squared away. So we will be back in full force. We'll be posting some photos soon with some of the merch that we are getting up. Just ordered the first 2 sweaters just to see what they look like, test them out, make sure they're good quality because our level 7s deserve nothing but the best. So we'll keep you guys updated. Stay tuned to our Facebook page. Stay tuned to our Spotify because even if you missed this episode, it's going to be up on our Spotify as well. So you can like, comment, subscribe, share. Take a look at the Week's Multimedia Group YouTube. We're on there as well. So we're out here, man. We're out here. We're doing our thing. We're getting there. We're getting there. As you guys can see, as you guys will see, we got it. Me and Triage, we got our own logos now. So, as you can see, the growth is there. We are growing. we're getting there, guys. So just bear with us, stick with us. And I'm telling you, by the end of it, it's going to be great. Also, look out for us next week at hopefully we'll be at the Saratoga Comic-Con at the end of next week. And at the end of the day, always remember, Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
And boom, my head.